Thank you, Johnny. Hi, folks, and welcome.
This is Jeopardy!
Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone.
This is Jeopardy! Here is today's contestant. Player one.
Yeah!
And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. And we have one daily double awaiting you in these categories. Literary characters, compound words. Let's go to Suriname. I need more space. Monopoly. And name that planet. Player one, you're in command of the board as we continue right now. A classic PBS kids series that taught reading shared its name with this Monopoly utility. Yes, player one. Use the Wii remote or press the corresponding direct... Yep. Please pick again, player one. Each time a player passes go, he collects this salary. It's player one. You got it. Player one, pick again. A question mark is on the space in which you draw one of these cards. Player one? Yeah, good. Player one, back to you. Tokens that are household items include the iron and this sewing accessory. Okay, player one. Hey, you're right. We return to you, player one. A railroad and an avenue are both named for this state. Yes, player one. That is correct. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Christian Huygens wrote about this planet's rings back in 1659. It's player one. Right. You again, player one. Instrument-laden rovers landed on this planet in 2004. Okay, player one. You are correct. Choose again, player one. The great red spot on this planet is actually a giant storm. Player one? Yes. Select again. A year on this planet is 88 days long. Let's hear it, player one. Right. Player one, you pick again, please. In the wake of a recent demotion, this is now the outermost planet. Okay, player one. Good. Player one, back to you for our next selection. At KFC, you can lunch on chicken. At KSC, this place, you can lunch with an astronaut. Let's hear it, player one. That's right. Way to go. Player one, you pick again, please. This Mattel doll became an astronaut in 1965, perhaps inspiring the young Sally Ride. Yes, player one. That is correct. You get to pick again, player one. Now available again, Quisp, which has a space alien mascot, is a type of this breakfast food. Player one? Right you are. Player one, pick again. This TV series wasn't about the Swiss Family Robinson, but the Space Family Robinson. It's player one. Yes. Player one, back to you. This 1956 film was a sci-fi version of The Tempest. Robbie the Robot was inspired by Ariel. Here's the correct response. Forbidden Planet. Please pick again, player one. In A Christmas Carol, the ghost of this dead partner is the first spirit to visit Scrooge. Player one? No. Here's what we were looking for. Jacob Marley. We return to you, player one. In A Scandal in Bohemia and other early stories, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle gave this physician a wife, Mary Morstan. Okay, player one. That's it. Choose again, player one. Let's get Kelly's assistance on this clue.
John Tenniel depicted this Lewis Carroll title character in 1865.
Yes, player one. Yes. Select again. The invaders in this H.G. Wells novel are described as having tentacles and a peculiar V-shaped mouth. Here's the correct response. The War of the Worlds. You again, player one. Ivan Petrovich Voynitsky is the title character of this 1899 Chekhov play. The correct response is Uncle Vanya. Select again. This aromatic herb of the genus Nepeta will drive your feline crazy. Let's hear it, player one. Correct. Player one, back to you. Swallowtail, viceroy, and monarch are types of this insect. It's player one. That's correct. We return to you, player one. If you've gone this, you might have said something extreme or fallen from the Queen Mary. Player one? Yeah. Correct. Please pick again, player one. Looking for a needle in one of these is a metaphor for an impossible search. Let's hear it, player one. That's correct. Player one, pick again. It's the Daily Double. You are in first place. Give us a wager, player one. Okay, here is the clue. In days of yore, women sometimes rode in this style, meaning both feet on the same flank of the horse. Yeah! Right. You again, player one. Since many of Suriname's workers come from India, this religion is practiced by almost 30%. Here's what we wanted. Hinduism. You get to pick again, player one. In a 1667 deal, the English got New York City, and these people got the territory that would become Suriname. Here's the response we were looking for. The Dutch. Player one, you pick again, please. A powerful presence in the country is Suralco, part of this giant metals company. Here's what we wanted. Alcoa. Choose again, player one. Suriname is wedged between Guyana and this dependency. Here's what we were looking for. French Guiana. And now the $1,000 clue. About half of Suriname's 439,000 people live in this capital city. We're talking about Paramaribo. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. We start the Double Jeopardy categories with this one. Play along. Father of the Bride. The Olympic Games. Science. Books of the Month. And India. Let's get back into this now. You have control of the board. In 2007, Intel announced a new, faster chip design replacing this 14th element with hafnium. Here's the correct response. Silicon. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. We went underground to learn this unit is equal to about 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power molecules of a substance. It's Player 1. Good. Yeah. You get to pick again, Player 1. Let's take it over to Kelly.
Symbolized lambda, the total distance covered by one complete cycle of oscillation from peak to peak or trough to trough is called this.
Okay, Player 1. Here's the response we were looking for. The wavelength. Please pick again, Player 1. In 2006, Israeli scientists claimed to have created the ball type of this stormy phenomenon using a microwave oven. Yes, Player 1. That's correct. Player 1, back to you. The third law of thermodynamics implies that a system can never be brought to this temperature point. Okay, Player 1. Right. Select again. A childhood chum, or this month's centerfold. Let's hear it, Player 1. Yeah! That's it. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. To treat something as less important. Yes, Player 1. That's right. Way to go. Player 1, pick again. Beastly boisterous behavior. Player 1. Correct. Player 1, you pick again, please. Alan Ball and Bud Schulberg came up with great ones. Here's the correct response. Screenplays. You again, Player 1. This publication has been serving theater since 1884. The correct response is playbill. We return to you, Player 1. The international airport in New Delhi bears her name. Here's what we were looking for. Indira Gandhi. Choose again, Player 1. Jamshedji Natta, an important businessman of this movie capital, used his wealth to enrich it. Here's the response we were looking for. Bombay. We return to you, Player 1. As the new leader of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri led it into a war with this neighbor in 1965. The correct response is Pakistan. Please pick again, Player 1. The winner of the 1913 Nobel Prize for Literature, Rabindranath Tagore, was born in this former capital in 1861. Here's the correct response. Calcutta. Select again. Let's go over to Kelly.
The gesture here typically accompanies this common Indian greeting, from Sanskrit for to bow.
It's Player 1. Good. Player 1, pick again. You might have to get as high as 20 feet off the ground to win a medal in this field event. Here's what we wanted. The pole vault. Player 1, you pick again, please. In the Olympic 400-meter relay final, this many runners compete together as a team? We're talking about 4. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Next to the marathon, it's the longest running event in the Summer Olympics. Here's the correct response. The 10,000 meters. Choose again, Player 1. Norway's Andreas Thorkildsen won a 2008 gold medal by throwing this 90.57 meters. The correct response is the javelin. You get to pick again, Player 1. Here's Kelly with the clue.
Led by Angel de Maria, this South American powerhouse won its second consecutive gold in men's soccer at the 2008 Games.
Here's the response we were looking for. Argentina. Player 1, back to you. By James Patterson and Maxine Petro. 4th of blank. Player 1. Good for you. You again, Player 1. By the New York Times, 4 days in blank. The original coverage of the John F. Kennedy assassination. Here's the correct response. November. Select again. By Barbara Tuchman. The Guns of blank. Here's the correct response. August. Player 1, you pick again, please. Answer, the first of the daily doubles. And you're in the lead now. How much are you going to wager, Player 1? And the clue. From Anais Nin's diaries, Henry and blank. Ooh, sorry. Here's what we were looking for. June. You again, Player 1. By Homer Hickam. Rocket Boys, also published as Blank Sky. Here's what we wanted. October. Choose again, Player 1. This steel man who gave away $350 million gave away his daughter Margaret at her 1919 wedding. Yes, Player 1. Right you are. Player 1, back to you. On November 14th, 1973, his daughter Anne got married at Westminster Abbey, with 500 million watching on TV. We're talking about Prince Philip. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. In 2002, Ralph Steadman, who took a wild trip to this city with Hunter Thompson, went back to see his daughter wed. Here's what we wanted. Las Vegas. Player 1, pick again.
Yeah!
Answer, the second daily double. You are currently in the lead. What'll it be? Here is your daily double clue. 9 weeks before he died, this Broadway lyricist got his daughter to the church on time. You got it. And the $2,000 clue? Days before the 1992 election, this candidate accused the GOP of trying to disrupt his daughter's wedding. Here's the response we were looking for. Ross Perot. Good game. I'll see you for Final Jeopardy in a moment. Time to get ready for Final Jeopardy. And today the category is this. Broadway. Please enter your wager. Each direction on the plus control pad represents a different response. Press a direction to select an answer. Let's take a look at the last clue. The original novel, based on a film, featured Alan Oppenheimer as Cecil B. DeMille. Let's see your response. And this correct response will add how much to your score?
Ooh.
Congratulations, player one. You're the winner. Good game. Thank you so much for playing.
This is Jeopardy! Let's meet today's contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Hey, Johnny, thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You look eager to get underway, so let's get right into it. The first round of play today has these categories for you: Canada, Mexico, or the United States. Thomas Paine said, myths and legends, IHOP, the Summer Olympics, and sounds like do, re, mi, etc. Player one, make a selection, please, as we continue. Select a clue by pointing the Wii remote at the screen and pressing the A button. The crisis number one begins. These are the times that try men's these. It's player one. Use the Wii remote or press the corresponding direction on the plus control pad, and then press the A button to select a response.
Yeah.
That is correct. Please pick again, player one. The fate of Charles I hath only made these individuals more subtle, not more just. Okay, player one. That's correct. We return to you, player one. No man was a warmer wisher for reconciliation than myself before the fatal 19th of this month, 1775. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah.
You are correct. You get to pick again, player one. In The Rights of Man in 1791, Paine wrote, "The cause of the rebellion in this country is that of the whole world." Okay, player one. Right. Select again. This basic document is the property of a nation, and not of those who exercise the government. Player one? Correct. Player one, you pick again, please. The red type of this marsupial can leap over barriers as high as 6 feet. Yes, player one. Hey, you're right. Player one, back to you. This class of animals includes frogs and toads. Let's hear it, player one. Yes. You again, player one. The hare named for this country between France and the Netherlands is actually a rabbit. It's player one.
Yeah.
Yes. Player one, back to you for our next selection. A grasshopper shares the billing with one of these insects in the title of an Aesop fable. Player one? Good. Please pick again, player 1. This tiny insect pest, Pulex irritans, can leap more than 130 times its own height. It's player 1. Yeah, good. You get to pick again, player 1. Here's Kelly from our Clue Crew with the clue.
Japan scored one of the biggest upsets in Olympic history in 2008, beating the U.S. to win the gold medal in this sport.
Yes, player 1. Yep. Player 1, pick again. A platypus was one of the mascots of the 2000 games held in this city. Okay, player 1. That is correct. We return to you, player 1. Different strokes. In 2008, Rebecca Soni won Olympic gold in 200-meter breaststroke. Natalie Coughlin in 100-meter this. Let's hear it, player 1. Right. Choose again, player 1. The 1972 games at this German city were the scene of terrorism and tragedy. It's player 1. Yes.
Yeah!
Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Jin Young Lee and Jinmun Park were members of this country's 2008 gold medal winning baseball team. Yes, player 1. Yes. You get to pick again, player 1. The largest in area. Okay, player 1. The correct response is Canada. Player 1, you pick again, please. It's 90% Catholic. Let's hear it, player 1. Right. You again, player 1. The most populous. Player 1. Yep. We return to you, player 1. It has 2 official languages. It's player 1.
Yeah!
Correct. Select again. Ruled by an emperor from 1864 to 1867. Let's hear it, player 1. That's correct. Please pick again, player 1. The earliest ballads of this outlaw say that his activities took place in South Yorkshire, not Nottinghamshire. Okay, player one. Good for you. Player one, pick again. In some legends, it's the influence of the full moon that changes a man into one of these, also called a lycanthrope. Player one?
Yeah!
You got it. Choose again, player one. Let's go to the Clue Crew for this next clue.
According to Norse legend, to learn the secrets of the rune stones, this chief god hung himself from a tree.
Yes, player one.
Yeah!
Right. Player one, back to you. This steel-driving man beat a steam drill in a race to make a railroad tunnel, but died with his hammer in his hand. Let's hear it, player one. Good. Please pick again, player one.
Yeah!
Answer? The Daily Double. You are in the lead right now. So, and the Daily Double clue. This hero of mythology cleaned the Augean stables by diverting the courses of two nearby rivers. That's correct. Choose again, player one. A Katharine Hepburn memoir. Okay, player one. You are correct. Select again. It's a long, long way to go to this 20th letter of the Arabic alphabet. It's player one.
Yeah!
Hey, you're right. Player one, you pick again, please. Bangladesh produces about 60,000 metric tons of this a year. Player one?
Yeah!
That is correct. You get to pick again, player one. Double talk phrase that followed ooh in the title of a 1973 album by The Faces. Yes, player one. Yes. And here's the $1,000 clue. It's Spanish for sun. Okay, player one. Correct. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Let's see what happens in Double Jeopardy with these categories awaiting the players. Royalty on film. Salmon. Name that century. The Vatican. Word origins. And characters in literature. All right, if you're ready, it's Double Jeopardy time. Helen Mirren as this queen in The Queen. It's player one. That's right, way to go. Player one, pick again. Kate Blanchett in 1998 as this title queen. Let's hear it, player one. Ah, good. We return to you, player one. Kirsten Dunst in 2006 as this title queen. Yes, player one. Yes. Player one, back to you. Robert Shaw was him in A Man for All Seasons. Player one. Good. You again, player one. Katharine Hepburn was her in The Lion in Winter. Let's hear it, player one. That's it. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Fish ladders help salmon travel upstream over these man-made obstructions. Yes, player one.
Yeah!
Right. Choose again, player one. Salmon are members of the same family as the speckled or brook variety of this fish. It's player one. Right you are. Player one, you pick again, please. World Book says this country leads the world in salmon fishing with more than 450,000 tons caught each year. Player one? That is correct. Player one, pick again. Weighing up to 100 pounds, this large type of salmon shares its name with a warm, dry wind. Okay, player one.
Yeah.
Right you are. Player one, back to you for our next selection. When it gets its silvery scales and migrates to the sea for the first time, a young salmon is called this. Player one. That's right. Way to go. Player one, back to you. Ben Franklin flew a kite and invented the lightning rod. It's player one. Right. You get to pick again, player one. The Impressionists exhibited their paintings for the first time. Okay, player one.
Yeah!
Correct. You again, player one. London experienced its deadly Great Fire. Let's hear it, player one. That is correct. Select again. Ferdinand and Isabella of Spain got married and united their kingdoms. Yes, player one. That's it. Please pick again, player one.
Ooh.
Answer? One of the Daily Double. And you have the lead. Please select your wager. All right, here's your clue. Rodent-borne plague killed off a third of Europe's population. Right. We return to you, player one. Crispin of Viterbo was the first one of these created by John Paul II. Let's hear it, player one. You got it. Please pick again, player one. You may not use cell phones or felt-tip pens when researching in the secret these. Yes, player one.
Yeah!
Good. Choose again. 1.
Yeah.
Yep. Player 1, pick again. Answer. The other daily double. You are currently in the lead. Decide on your wager, Player 1. Here is your clue. The Inventario Manoscritti room is part of this Vatican building. Yes. You get to pick again, Player 1. The faithful can make offerings via cash or credit card to the fund called This Man's Pence. Okay, Player 1. Good for you. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. The Keebler elves could probably tell you that the name of this snack comes from a Dutch word for small cake. Player 1? You are correct. Select again. Maple or otherwise, this thick, sweet stuff is from the Arabic for to drink. It's Player 1. Good. Player 1, you pick again, please. First used in a novel about 90 years ago, it refers to a bright person, not someone who resembles Humpty Dumpty. Let's hear it, Player 1. Right. Player 1, back to you. The name of this type of aircraft is from two Greek words meaning spiral wing. Okay, Player 1. Correct. You again, Player 1. The term funny bone is actually a pun on the name of this upper arm bone. Here's what we were looking for. The humerus. We return to you, Player 1. This treacherous pirate in Treasure Island has a pet parrot named Captain Flint. Here's the correct response. Long John Silver. Select again. A gray spider named Charlotte brings about a series of miracles to keep this pig from the butcher's knife. Yes, Player 1. Hey, you're right. You again, Player 1. Kelly will present this clue.
The traditional masks of comedy and tragedy were used by characters in ancient Greek drama. They're thought to have represented the twin sides of this god of wine and revelry.
Player 1. Yes. Choose again, Player 1. Tom Sawyer saw him murder Dr. Robinson in the cemetery and testified against him in court. Okay, Player 1. Yes. Here's the $2,000 clue. This E.L. Doctorow title character joins Dutch Schultz's gang as a 15-year-old in 1930s New York City. It's player one. That's correct. Good game. You will participate in Final Jeopardy right after this. Consider your wagers carefully as you think on this category. Musical history. You need to select your wager. Press the corresponding direction on the plus control pad to select your response. And now the final clue. It's the nursery rhyme that inspired the title of a famous musical based on a 1913 George Bernard Shaw work. What did you say? With that correct response, you will gain
Yeah!
Congratulations, player one. You are our new champion. So long.